Everybody can unboon now. Unboon.
So we'll start from the start,
Yes.
guys. There will be some trash packs in the beginning. Kinda like the AQ20 mobs. You have to mana drain these guys, because they are the same as the Moan boss. They start on 0. And they stack 25% each. You see almost all of their warlocks here. Mana draining. They're also keeping Viper Sting up on the mob to make sure he's mana drained. Must also be the case that the priest have to help out. You see, everyone here is helping out, mana draining the mob, making sure that it dies before it gets the full mana. If you want, let me know if I should turn the sound on, otherwise I will try to explain it. What you have next is 4 of these Anubis F guys. What you do is the mages detect magic on these, so that you can see some of the abilities that it has. I don't really remember what add-on this guy is used. Normally you don't want to do something like this. This is a bit chaotic. What you want is that everyone moves in together and you start as a pixel stack, because if you have a meteor or something here, or a plague, this is a super fucked positioning to start with. So what you want to do is that the tanks move in, pick them up, and everyone stack on one guy that will be marked, probably one of the tanks. In this case, I will just show you. This guy didn't have it, so let me just show you from Frontier instead. They have an add-on for these, or Ikora, I can't remember what it is, that will set up. So when they start killing these and you see the detect magic is going out, you will have ability. This is gonna be a kill order. So there is some abilities that is super more and more dangerous than what the because once you kill one of these four, the other 3 will have the same ability that the first one died with, so they stack. So if you kill the first guy that has Shadow and Frost Reflect, the skull here, you kill that first, all of the other 3 will have the same, so it will transfer to the other guys. So you want to kill him in the least deadly first, so you have the most scary ability at the end. So what you have of these is that you have a Thrift Live, exactly as in AK20, so Arcane Fire, Frost and Shadow. Then you have a Mending, it's basically like a Druid heal, so you have the heal ability. Then here in the middle is a bit iffy. You can have Shadow Storm. This is why it's super important to stay stacked, because this one does more damage the further away you are from the mob when it goes out. So this is why you want to stack up until you see what abilities you have. But also the mobs can also have Thunderclap. So if you have a Thunderclap, but you don't have a Shadow Storm, you can drag, example, the Thunderclap out of the raid, so only the tank takes damage. But you want to try and kill it in this order, because there's the least scary abilities, the first 3, then you have the middle 3, and then you have the last 3. If you have all 4 of these at the bottom, you have to be super careful. So the most scary ones, I think, for the raid damage is Shadow Storm for sure, and Thunderclap. When it comes to the tanks, it's mostly gonna be like Thorns. If you kill the first mob and it has Thorns, all the 3 other mobs will have Thorns. If you cleave or whirlwind on top of that, you can take like 2k damage every single auto attack or hit you do. So you have to be careful not killing yourself. So normally what you do on these packs is that you GSPP pre, you also GMPP pre, so you have both of these covered. And then it's only for the tanks really to do all the physical work, so this way squishy raiders in the back won't die. So what you want to do also this is that you detect all abilities on this and see this swords itself that Ampy has, and I will have something similar, so I will make the calls. So Skull doesn't mean that you kill it first. It will be the kill order that I decide as the raid leader. But when you also kill these, if you try to kill them all at the same time, as soon as one dies, they will all heal back to 50%. You only want to do a single target and really get one by one. So in this case, I think they decide they're doing the Shadow Spell Reflect because it's the least scary. Then they're gonna do Mending. And then the last one is not detected yet, it's Skull. There it came. So it said Shadow Storm, and for some reason they had this first. I would probably wait with this. So I would do Skull, Square, and I would probably do Shadow Storm and Mana Bird last. Because this you can all set up yourself. But you see here, I don't know what happened, but this guy here, the mage, if you check the top right corner here, is about to get almost one shot. I think he's one of the guys sitting in the back, and the first guy who has the Shadow Man throws an ability on him. And this is, remember, without world buffs here and probably maybe protection pots. He almost get one tapped. 2 hits, so he takes a probably a Shadow or something, Frost Reflect, and a Shadow Storm, and you almost get one tapped as a caster. So you don't want to DPS early. It's kind of like the same as the Spinny Boys in Blackwing Lair. So in this case, you have Shadow Storm, but you don't have a Thunderclap. So you want really everyone to stack on top so that you can kill them in order and cleave. But it's all depending on what abilities you can have. It's all RNG, so you can have the four easiest one, or you can have the 4 hardest one, or you can have 2 easy and 2 middle ones. And it's all going to be different for every single pack, every time we do it. So these are the noob staffs. So we'll jump past these. Yeah, this guy doesn't have an add-on, he's a healer, so he probably just listen to his raid lead. But yeah, they take a lot of damage. I think one of the guys had Thorns, so when they hit warriors here are cleaving, for example, they lose like 3 to 4k HP on one cleave because they hit 3 guys with Thorns. So even the tank here is almost dying, he's 11k HP. So they kill all of these off. Then you have one more mana drain guy and a 4 more big guy pack. So they will do the same, mana drain 1. Then I actually think, yeah, there's one more guy patrolling, so you even do 2 of the obsidian guys before you pull the big 4 pack. So these only mana drain, mana drain, mana drain, and make sure that they die before they get 100% mana. So what is he doesn't have the weak guard that we're using for the shields, but I think if I'm not mistaken that he has shield protection potions, if I'm not mistaken, already active, or should have at least, because he has them down here. So what you want to have on this is 1 GSPP and 1 GNPP. They're quickly drinking up, and they're detecting magic the same here, because this, or that the guy does the abilities, will let you know what ability they have. What we're probably going to do from the start is that everyone is going to run into the middle and stack on top of each other, and we wait with DPS until we've seen all abilities. So they are killing this 4 pack off. And the next thing is the first boss, so I will just show you. The first boss is Scaram. This is a picture that I leashed off Freaks. So what you see here in the picture is the entrance. You will have kind of like a free mirror happening on the boss. So you will have the main boss start here. You will walk up the off tanks. You move up over here and here. You will also have then different positions. You want range to stand here because this boy also has a mind control. So you see here, sheep is assigned to whoever gets mind control first to have a sheep target. So you have, for example, group 6 is standing right here with the mage. So if one of these guys here get mind control, you will have insta sheep go out on this target and make sure that he's sheep. Because if he is not sheep and he hits someone, you probably die. Because they got a big increase in like maybe 500% increase in damage, kind of like the Scarab Lord quest we did. And you can one tap one as a melee DPS area if you are like a warrior and hitting a rogue, you probably get one tapped. So mages have to be ready to sheep your targets. You will have one here, and you will also have one here helping out the middle one. The ads has an arcane explosion. So what you do also pre-boss is that you use GAPP, also greater arcane protection potion, and the GNPP. Because if he gets the explosion off, which he should never, it's super important that every melee DPS, it's gonna be 2 warriors probably, and maybe 2 rogues in this group. Make sure to insta-kick the target. Insta-kick the target as soon as the explosion starts. It's a really quick cast, you have to be really fast. You have to save your energy and be ready to kick. Can also kidney and stuff. Same goes for group 4 in this case. You will have to be ready to kick. Same thing for the middle. So in this case, they have the whole group ready to kick. So it's not one player. You have to have the whole group ready. So don't trust each other to do it. Just do it. Insta. As soon as the cast comes out, you kick. Otherwise, you have a big arcane explosion. It's hitting the off tank, the paladin, and everyone in group 2. The reason why I think they have a paladin here, depending on how many we have, we probably don't have 5, is that they can hodge. So if one of the guys here get mind control, you can insta hodge the target, and the mage has time to sheep. So this is the reason why. All the casters and healers will be standing here in group 7, group 8, and group 5, group 6. And then the thing that will happen is that there will be a teleport or a split where the boss splits up into 3 parts, and 2 of those will be mirrors with less damage. This is also why you have the marks on them, so you will probably have skull, cross, and square for us. So I will show you the boss fight. and you will see yourself when they pull here. The reason why they have skull or cross square is they have it on one of the tanks. But they're walking up, you see everyone is mounting. Only the main tank in the groups walks into their position and starts hitting. Everyone else is moving to their position. It's super important. No need to rush the DPS. So you see everyone here is moving out into position. Now you see they have interrupt, arcane blast coming. That has to be kicked, otherwise you take a lot of arcane damage. And now you have ability called summon images. This will split the boss into the 3 positions that I'm showing. One here, one here, one here. 2 of these guys will be clones that has less damage. You have to kill those, and then you focus the boss again. But what you want to do here, guys, is that the melee group 2, when your target is dead, you're staying here until the next summon comes, until you're at the last phase, execute phase. So what you're doing is only you're sitting here, killing the ghosts. You see, in this case, these guys actually lost one of the guys. I don't really know how, but normally you have 1, 2, 3. So you kill off the 2 guys that are not the tanks. In this case, they also had a mind control here on one of the guys. So this is one. You see he get insta-hodged here. And then it's gonna be followed by a sheep. So you can't cleave this, then you will break it. Because you see they grow really, really big and they hit super fucking hard. And now they actually managed to have an arcane blast go off, which should never happen. So in this case, they had a shadow here in the middle. They have a shadow here on the left side from this picture. And the only real one, the boss, is standing here on the right hand side. But it's super important that everyone stays in the middle and stays on the left. You're not running to parts here. Fuck that. So then you're waiting. You have a new summon images, and you will have 3 more spawns, or two more add spawn. And then the boss can also switch position. So the boss maybe be here, first phase. Can then switch to the left side or go back to middle. So this in this case was a shadow. So they killed the shadow. They killed the shadow on this side, and boss was left side. But you see here also, you have all the guys staying in position. No one is moving. So they have 1 more summon images. So this is the 3rd one in this case. And then they kill the images and they finish the boss. So that is it. You just have to be careful. You kick the arcane blast and careful for the mind control. Those are the 2 deadly things here. What we might do on this boss is normally that you have 1 tank that will taunt first once the image spawn. If you resist your taunt, you might able to AoE taunt, but you can only do this once, right? So what we might do is that we have an off tank from group 2, for example a DPS warrior that's ready to taunt if the first guy misses, and the off tank will tank it until the off tank can pick it up again with a new taunt. The same will go for this side, and same will go for the mid position. Is there any questions on this boss? This is the first boss, Boss Scaram, Prophet Scaram. You also see that the Freaks roster had super many paladins. I think they had 6 or 7, every single one, and fewer priests. We have kind of the other way around. We have more priests than we have paladins at the moment, at least. Then I think they bring 4 or 5 mages and 3 paladins they had. So they want to have also the Curse of Tongue here for the Arcane Explosion, because the ability is like less than 1 second, I think, for the see here, for the holy fuck, there's a lot of loot. It's a super fast cast, so yeah, Arcane Explosion. Yeah, it is when a lot of people stack, but it is a really fast cast, so you have to kick this ASAP when you're clearing this moss. So rogues and DPS warriors. If there was no questions on this, they're gonna loot the boss. Remember, guys, I don't know if I told some people this, but when you kill a boss in AQ40, everyone has to loot the boss. I will show you quick. You get something called like Rashi, Lord's Insignia. This you can turn in. This will give you rep for both scenario and hold, but also for the what is called Broodlord of Norsedamo, the AQ40 instance, where you get reps. You get rep for both of these when you turn this in. So it's super important that you loot all the bosses in AQ40. So everyone loots the boss. You will have one more trash pack coming up here. This is a bit hard because I can't show it on the priest pov, so I will jump to frontier here instead. We skip the boss quick. And remember, these guys don't have world buffs, so they kill it pretty slow, so they probably have more teleports than what we do. But what I see that these guys do is that they are certain. You see, they're using 2 off tanks here instead on every side. We might do the same just to be certain. But you loot the boss, as I said, for the Kirashi. And then everyone is walking down from the stairs here. On these packs, you will have 2 smaller insects and one, I think it's what this mob is called, Mind Slayer or something. I think you have it in here as well. Yeah, this guy. So this is a kill prio. So you kill the Brainwasher first. Because these have the... I think this is the Brainwasher's list. These have MC. So you have to be careful to... So what you normally do is that you nuke this guy. The square guy, I think they do here. When they're walking in. And I think they might be cleaving the 2 targets on top. Let's see here. Yeah. So they're stacking this on top, but I think, yeah, they're targeting the MC. So what you want to avoid is try to avoid the MC target aiming on, because it's called Brainwasher, right? So that is why. Then you have the 2 Guardians, only 2 of these. Yeah. So normally what you have to do on these guys, we will have a bigger pack of these later. When you kill one of these, or when one of these is getting low, and you have another of the same type, Vecnis Guardian, you will have the other one will enrage and start charging people that's hitting the cross guy in this case. So, but I think on these 2 you're fine. But if you were to be able to charge, you will be knocked up into the roof. So what you will have to do is, if you're falling really really high, mainly you want to lip. This is also why Ampy has it on F1 in this case. But you can also petri when you're about to come down. And I think on these 2 packs it's fine because you can kill them pretty fast. But when you walk into the next pack, let's see here. Some reason they already pulled these. I don't really know what they're doing. So this is the Vecnis Warriors. When you're killing these, they will spawn 20 small, super small insects, and they will hit the closest target. If you're not a tank, even if you're a DPS warrior and hit one of these, you might just be dead. So what you want to do when one of these is dying, kind of like the same with CG Ghosts, you have to walk out. What we might do on this is that we will have tanks or just DPS warriors have FAP or lip AoE taunt rotation. So one of these is getting ready to die. You will pre-lip and you will AoE taunt. You will get all the ads on you. That was not the right video. So when you see here that the skull is about to die, go fast. This guy die, and you see here, this guy got insta one shot here. This here is, I think even a full DPS warrior here. This is fully geared, raid geared DPS warrior. Check his HP. There is no way anyone can do anything about this when this mob is dying. So what's happening here is the amp is not in position to call it out. Who's gonna do the taunt rotation? The mob dies, insta, check his HP, bam, gone. Nothing you can do. You're insta dead here. This takes 0.0 seconds and you're dead. This for a warrior. Remember this. If you're a rogue, mage, warlock, standing too close, you're dead. Nothing you can do. What happens next is that one guy, I think, AoE taunts, so they were following one of the tanks. So he's lip AoE taunting here. So this lets you sapper, and you can also AoE mages and warlocks. Go ham on these. What you do then is that you pick up the next targets. It's super important you don't cleave these, because if you have 2 of these dying at the same time, then 4 or 5 people can get insta one shot here on these packs. So it's super important you pick them up one by one. The mobs dies, you see everyone else is walking out. Someone lip AoE taunt. So what you want to do is you try to move all DPS out of line. But should only be the tanks that's still standing close in proximity. So you see next wave is going out. This one is running a bit. I think Ampy decided here to taunt it, just to make sure that they picked up. And they do some sapper charges, and some warlock do AoE DPS. So yeah, this is the first run, by the way, from 2 weeks ago. What you have next is one more Brainwasher and 2 of the same Guardians, or 3 I think even. So what you do here, since these guardians is the one that enrages and charges when you kill them. So you have to kill them one by one out of line of sight. So what to do here, everyone is jumping down while one of the hunters pulls all the mobs up, all the guardians. You'll have 3 off tanks. Pick up all the mobs up here in the slope. Just taunt them up and drag them up the stairs. So Ampy is grabbing the brainwasher. Care for the MC still on this mob. Drag it in underneath here, the staircase. And in this case, they pick up Cross first. They will grab Cross, so no DPS on this guy. So you have to either drag him out of range for a charge or line of sight. So what to do here is that they want to stop DPS. You drag him underneath the ramp and you kill it. Then you bring the next target. So ideally, all melee DPS here should stay underneath the ramp. There is no need to rush these DPS and walk up here and kill them. So what you do is you taunt one and you just let it run down. And then as soon as Square is about to die, this one you can just kill because this is the last one, right? What you can do, textbook, you drag it back down as well. But the last one you can kill. That doesn't really matter. So it's super important. The Guardians, you have to kill line of sight. The Warriors on the HUD, we need tanks to be ready to taunt. This is also why it's super important for tanks and off tanks to keep your pot cooldown off. This is one of the reasons also why I want to add on that lets me see your pot cooldown, so I know who I can call out for this. So this is something they don't decide beforehand, so they call it out during the raid depending on pot CD. So it's super important that you try to keep your pot CD up here after the boss.
Dummy.
This is not the right one still. So what they're doing here now, all of these pack here is one giant pack of Guardians. So what you do is that you can't cleave these. You have to kill them one by one by one. So you need 6 tanks for this. So one from every mark. So what you do is you have a hunter. In this case, he just ran in with his epic mount. Body pull them. The whole pack is coming in. So you're stacking up. You're letting every tank pick your mob up, but no DPS. So all melees here should shut the fuck up and just stay silent until I'm ready to call for it. So you're getting them all stacked up. And in this case, Ampy is taking Skull. So this is super scary. You can't start DPSing this guy. He's on 70% now. If he would be 50 here, all of these guys would start charging like crazy, go in rage, and people would die. So you have to stop here. You make sure that it's a line of sight. This guy is still in line of sight. You have to get him out of sight. So all the way here around the corner. And now melee DPS can go and kill it. That's fine. Then you tell the off tank for Cross, bring Cross around. And melee DPS, you stay here. This is super important. You don't run back and start DPS only because you want to parse on trash. You wait here for Cross to come in. You don't hit it, only let the tank. And now you start hitting it. This is fine. You kill Cross off. You do the same for all of these 6 mobs until it's only... So it's super important here, tanks. Once you have threats, stop hitting. Because otherwise you're going to get these to 50% by yourself before you come to the last mob. Because what happened here is that they fucked up this one of these packs. Yeah, exactly. I will show it one more time. This case, they have triangle down to 40%. And diamond is already low to like 30% because some idiots started cleaving these, probably hunters and curses went out on this, and they did too much AoE. So they killed diamond, but all of a sudden they dragged triangle also in line of sight. They killed the diamond, and this guy, boom, charges. You see, insta, like 8 people here get knocked. Depending on, you can get really, really far knocked here. So what's important here is that you have, in this case, your lip ready. So this guy's amp is fine, but Parla, their second tank here, full HP, spam clicked his lip. It wouldn't go off, he falls down and he's dead. You lose your main tank this way and then, yeah, you can call the raid a quit after the first boss. So it is super important here that all casters, all melee DPS, you don't DPS the target until I call for it. So they lost their second tank to this and almost lost 4 or 5 more people because, yeah, they all get charged because melee DPS wanted to parse on trash. So now they already had 2 warriors die, 1 DPS warriors died to trash, and their second tank died to fucking trash again. This is why I said the bosses is not the scary part in AQ40, it is the trash. The trash will kill you if you don't do the mechanics right. What you do next, you have one more pack. You let the hunter pull this. You can probably pet pull this. All of these, I think, is guardians as well. So you just do the same. You pull. You have to be super careful because you have one pack here, I think, in the middle, and you have one pack here over here on the left side. That's barely visible. So we'll use the same spot here. This little, I would say, hook right here on the edge. So where you're pulling it into this cubby. So you're a hunter. You're pulling the pack, dragging it back, and then all tanks pick up their marks. In this case, cross skull is first. Ampy grabs it, gets it line of sight. You see, you have to wait DPS here. In this case, the whatever it is, the mob that is falling behind, someone missed it. I think it is the square one here. Even I am in the chat apparently. You see here they have skull, and all of a sudden diamond is not picked up. So what happens if melee DPS go here and nuke this too fast? This guy will start going crazy. So you have to wait here. You have to get it line of sight. Everyone else is waiting, and you make sure that diamond has to be dragged back, otherwise you're gonna fuck it up. So diamond gets pulled back, out of sight, and you kill the skull. You do this the same, you just grab one mark, one by one, super careful, just make sure that this guy can't die here too early. So melee DPS, you just sit on your hands and wait. And now you can start hitting it. As soon as it's around the corner, you taunt it and you kill it. Super easy. You do this for the 6 or 7 mobs there is in these packs. But in this case, they also had warriors come. I think this is a patrol. Warriors is the one that spawns the 20 ads when you kill it. So I think they decided that they're gonna kill the warrior first here because these they don't enrage the same ways as the guardians do. So they're killing off the guardians first. You have triangle, the last mark, and then Ampy decided to mark up the next pack that came in. So they're killing off triangle behind now, all melee DPS, and then you're probably gonna kill skull first. Switching to skull. So killing skull off, and when skull dies, if you remember, one taunt tank will AoE taunt. And I think even Ampy just puts on his shield, doesn't even lip here, but just to be safe for tanks, if you have lip up, it's a lot better to use. So just bring a lot of these. So you lip AoE taunt, or just AoE taunt with the shield on. Then you bring the next target, you kill cross, melees, move out in time if you want to be safe, and then you have an AoE taunt go off. And same goes for the third target. We have, I think, one more of these Guardians packs. We have to kill them one by one. I think there's also one over here that you also have to kill. So what you're doing here, you're marking all the targets up. You pull them, let tanks pick them up. And you use this little cubby here as the kill corner. It's super important to know where you're supposed to pull them when you're off tank. So we will follow probably me. Kill one, you tell cross to get over. Everyone else stop DPS, wait for it to come around the corner. And you kill off all the 6 or 7 targets you have. This is why it's super important to have many tanks here, or people who can tank one of these ads. You see here, they almost start pulling green here a little bit too fast before diamond is about to die. If green gets around the corner here and sees this guy die, this might just be an insta charge and one of the tanks go flying up alleyway and you will pull another 7 of these. And then you're in some deep shit. So to do, to finish off all the 6 or 7 mobs. Then they are pet pulling, same position. They're still staying same position. Everyone in the raid is staying same position. You let hunter pet. After the marks go out, you pick them all up. In this case, I think they're doing the opposite. So everyone is grabbing their mob instead and dragging them around the corner. So around the corner, only the main kill target stays. So it's super important here that you don't start pumping the one target, then you're getting fucked. So you wait, you see square is still here in the stack, shouldn't be here, both for guardians. So stop DPS here. They might even do 2 of these, I don't really know why, but yeah. Okay, now they did it. So what you drag out, square, and then you kill skull off. So what AMP is calling for here is stop DPS. You see how fast this dies? If you start pumping it, it dies insta, and then you have the charges going off. Then you grab cross, tanks get it in position, and melee jump on it. Then you do the same here for all of these packs until they're dead. What are they doing? The Satura here next. Okay, a little bit weird. I will jump back to the second VOD quick, guys, and I will show you. I think they're doing a different order. There should be a second boss in between these, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, now they're doing it this order. What? Okay, weird. Yeah, whatever. We'll show this quick. Yeah, they decided to pull another direction, and I think they're pulling the same here. This is the Brainwashers with the double Guardians, so you have to be super careful. You kill one of these, you kill the my Brainwashers first, and I even think they had tanks getting brainwashed here. Yeah, so you have the tank go out, or the monk will go out on a tank. So you have to be careful here. It's in the middle of the raid now, the tank. But what you do is that you kill off the brainwashers first, the MC targets. And then you have guardians again. So these you're supposed to kill one by one. So they're getting square, line of sighting it. All the way out before you kill it. Then you bring the next one over. Then you got more, they're pulling the back, brainwasher with guardians. Same mobs. Make sure to mark them up. They also had a tank here, get mind control again, so this is why you need off tanks. Plenty of them for these mobs. So they're killing brainwashers, both the brainwashers die, and then they switch targets to the guardians instead. It was super weird. The direction they did on the frontier one, they're doing a different boss second, which you normally don't do. Normally this is probably the way we're gonna do it. So what you're doing is that you're killing the Scaran boss, the one that we've talked about, this one. The next one here is a bug trio, it's called. It's 3 different bugs that you kill in a specific order. So we're gonna do the same as these have done. So you can have 3 big, almost like insects looking like. That will be tanked by 3 different tanks in different positions. You will have Skull as the prior kill target. But in this case, they're moving the one away because when I think one of the guys die, the second one is gonna charge in where the first guy died, and you don't want to be standing in this. So what you do here, I think they're doing GNPP pre-pot. So you have 3 different ads, 3 different insects with different name. Will have same targets as these. So what you're doing is that you're walking in, you let the tanks pick them up, no DPS, no DPS. You're getting all of these into the same position that we just saw. They're dragging kind of like a triangular shape like this. So this is the kill spot, and you walk in from here. You have off tank, off tank. Then you will have a 4th tank sitting here because sometimes these mobs threat resets and drop aggro. It will charge into the raid stack or the healers. Off tank's duty, taunt it, and let the off tank grab it back in position. So in this case, for some reason, the healer is standing right on top of the healer here. But yeah, you have the poison going out. So what I've told you, same for AQ20. It's super important here that you have your elixir of poison cleansing. You want to cleanse it insta. So you see he's spamming for his ability, and I think he got cleansed insta, but the whole raid should be cleansed there insta. You want this to happen fast. So you see he's spamming a heal button here. And you see he's auto-targeting his elixir of poison because this is macroed into his bind. So as soon as his cast is over, he's gonna cleanse if he has it done. You see here, almost one of the healers get one tapped here. It's a healer druid with just barely 6k HP. This guy, I think, the square guy, charges back, Tank loses aggro. Almost one-shots a healer. Super important that the off tank that's standing on the healer stack is picking it up. So that's close. They have to do lay of hands on that one. And a bop. Grab it back in position. Main target is dying. And as soon as it dies, charging back in, into position. So it's super important to be careful. All pets and everything got one shots. There's also a toxic cloud here on the floor after it dies. So you see this guy is almost dying. A rogue DPS with 10k HP almost. So he also gets bopped. You're then killing Cross next. And all of a sudden you have mobs lose here. I think tank loses aggro. And you have a charge again. So it's super important to staying stacked here. This is a little bit chaotic. So but they're killing Princess. She dies. There will be ads coming. So what you do is the zapper after the second mob dies. You try to kill all the ads first. Ads first. Then you switch to the last insect. So you see the Vem guy is the charge, the square guy. This is why it's super important when this guy charges back here that you have an off tank ready to taunt it. Because you also get knocked, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy over here, far away, got knocked. So you kill 3 of these, and then you will have the loot from the last bug of these that you kill. So there is a different loot table for the different 3 bugs, depending on what order you kill them in. I will jump back a bit. So this is where Frontier ran. You came from up the slope, and they did the bug trial first in this. Ampy and Frontier, they ran back and did this boss first, like secondly instead. So what they are doing now is all the trash mobs that we just checked, all the guardians, they are clearing it now. So I'm gonna skip past these. This is the same mobs that the Frontier cleared that I showed earlier. So what we are doing is the same direction as these do. We do the Scaran boss, then we do the bug trio, and then we clear all of these trash that Cozy is clearing from last year. So I will skip past these. I think it's 4 different packs with guardians. Kill them one by one. And this is the same turn that they walked up around before, clearing the trash in Frontier. So you do the same spots. You have the kill target spot over here, and you have all the trash stacking up here. So one by one, only listen to what the raid lead says and what to bring in. But we are going to do the same kill order as we always do. Skull, cross, square, moon, and then we are going to do triangle or diamond. 5th and 6th. Always the same. Unless I call something different. Yeah, so what they did here instead is that Easy Claps, the raid leader, called for a different mark, so they didn't do it in the regular order. It doesn't really matter, they're the same mob, just maybe you bring one of the off tanks in, or the DPS warriors, so they don't have to tank. So you kill off all the guardians, same as we did earlier. Then they bring up the last pack, and I think here they managed to pull the patrol. I don't know if you can see that on the VOD. Yeah, they apparently already pulled the warriors, so somehow this joined in here. Because here they only have 2 mobs, right? 2 guardians. All of a sudden here it comes in warriors from the back. Probably a patrol, so there's 3 warriors, and then we'll kill these last. So what they're doing now is killing the last guardian, and then they're switching to the warriors. Warriors is the one that spawns 20 ads. So then they switch and do kill order on that. And then they clear the next 2 upcoming packs here on this corner. Just jumping past these, my PC is a bit slow. So what they're really doing is they're clearing this little alleyway here. You have 2 different corridors, one over here and one over here that connects to the boss room. So what you have now is that you have cleared all the trash for the next boss. This will be the Satura one. This is a super sketchy one from Melis. You will see it soon. I will also show you a clip from Frontier that looks a bit sketchy. What you have to do here is that you have a boss, that would be Star in this case. We'll probably just do Moon or something. And then you have 3 ads, Skull, Cross, Square. You have 3 different tanks for this, but what you want to do here is that on pull, when they're all stacked up like this, They have to be stacked up. So you let the tanks pick them up, drag them together, and when they're all stacked, we go 1, 2, 3. All paladins will hodge their targets, including the boss, because you want to do this pretty fast. What you then do after that is either that a rogue, after the 6 seconds, either open with cheap shots, so you have to stay stealthed until the first CC breaks. So you do it right before the CC ends. You can't be late on it. So it's when it's about to fall off, 1 second, you do a cheap shot. This will let you have 8 seconds to kill all of these 3 ads. You will do sappers and full AoE on these. All of these mobs have to die here. This is super important. This is why it's super important to have sappers in AQ40, because you can AoE kill stuff really, really fast. So AoE these 3 mobs, and then everyone is switching to the boss. What is scary with this boss, you will see it soon, that he has a whirlwind. So it's super important for everyone to have pot CD open. You need to have a lip here as a backup. It is super important because this boss can more or less kill a tank if you're not or if you're not prepared to use your cooldowns. So I'll let you see the fight when they're running in. They will have, I think, boss is even unmarked, I think, in this pack. So what they do is that this guy has his pot cooldown back, so he has lip ready now, so you can use it. What they are doing is that they're making sure everyone is ready, buffed up. They are then mounting up, and when the boss is patrolling away from the room, they're all running in. So you try to grab him in the middle of the room, so you have a good positioning. So you see the boss is running in now, coming back to the middle, and they're moving in, so they can get into a good position. So they're socialing here, make sure that everyone is running in, and right here, I think they're stunned. So here they start stunning. All 4 mobs, including the boss, is stunned with the hodge, and you see sappers is going out. Sappers. Full away, flame strike, cock, arcing explosion, whatever it is, you nuke it, insta. All 3 mobs has to die. Because when they don't stun, you see people here starting getting knocked. This is what you don't want to happen. Why it's super important here that you have a CC overlay and you actually kill these in time. Otherwise you have 10, 15 people here start running when these mobs die. People get bopped, you get thrown away super far away, and still some of the mobs is still alive here on the left. What happens now is that the boss starts whirlwinding. So in this case, I think they have 2 or 3 tanks here that help out taunting up the boss. Because if this is not taunted when whirlwind happens, she will go crazy all over the raid. This does like probably 2 to 4k every spin that this boss die. And you will probably, as a rogue, even mage priest here, get probably 1 tapped in like a couple of tries. So what you do here is that you let the spin go. Make sure that finish, wait for all melee DPS, and as soon as the spin stops here, you see it start moving, you taunt it back. Make sure that it's not hitting the raid, and as soon as the whirlwind stops, now, all melees move in, and you start the kill window on the boss. So you move in, you go crazy on the boss. Yeah, now where is he? So what they're doing here, trying to keep it up, nuke, and whirlwind starts. What happens then? Either as a DPS, you lip, if you want to stay in for a bit, because you take no damage then, it's all physical. Or you walk out. You walk out and you make sure that only the tanks is staying in position. Tanks has to stay in here. We need 3 to 4 tanks that will do a taunt rotation of this, as I will call out. Because what happens then is that the boss stays still, but still spinning, so you can only hit the tanks here. You see, only tanks is taking damage. So they're tapping everyone up, and here they dropped it. You see Lip is going down on this DPS warrior. But what also happening is the dummies is going down. What you can do here to catch it almost as a taunt, kind of the same as the spinny boys. You drop a dummy, but you try to drop the dummy close to the mob so that it stays. You don't want it dropping over here to the left, so the mob starts spinning this way in people's direction. So what you want to do here is you dummy, and then you let another tank walk in, you taunt it, you drag it back into position. So in this case here, they have like 5, 6 dummies down, I think, in total already on this boss. So what we're doing, as long as the boss is spinning, everyone is staying out. Staying out so you don't take damage. And then, spinning stop, you have a CC go down. I think it's either a Reese Hodge here or a kidney shot or something. Go out, it stuns. I think it enrages here. So what you have to do here in this kill window is that you absolutely nuke it. It's super important here that you kill it on the assigned time. I don't think if they have any exactly good positioning of like when to kill it, but normally what you do here is that you just absolutely nuke it in the last percent, so make sure that it dies. So this is stunned all the way. Think hodge into sheep or into kidney, maybe sheep shot, you hodge again, and just try to keep it CC'd so it doesn't start whirlwinding again, and you finish the boss. Because if it enrages and you have it spinning all over the raid with whirlwind, then if you don't have your lip ready, you will die. So this guy used pot, I don't really know when he did. He used mana pot here for some reason on this boss, I don't really know why, but I guess he felt safe. So if you don't have your lip up here, you will have to petri if you're about to die. This is just an individual petri, it's not a petri for the whole raid, it's just to keep your HP bar safe. This is also why I say, when I said that you want 4 petris and 2 titans when you're coming to AQ40, it is not to fuck you guys over money-wise, just in case you have to petri individually. I would still like you to have a backup Titans, but you can also Petri 2 times more in the raid solo and still Petri Alt F4 in case we need to call it for the whole raid, of course. So this is not me trying to punish you. I always bring 4 Petris, 2 Titans, and a Light Balloon when I go to raid, just for me individually, so I can Petri in case I need it and let someone else tank. So after that, you kill the Bug Trio or the Satura boss. So now you killed first boss, second boss, third boss, in this order. What they're doing now, I call it the gauntlet. This is kind of like moving the suppression boom in BWL. Everyone has to stay stacked. So this is like a long gauntlet with just small trash mobs. Don't disrespect them. They can kill a caster still, but you should just be able to walk over these. But you have to preserve some mana. So mages, you can coke, you can do a little bit of damage, or an explosion when you walk in. But you can't stop here because they have really quick respawns. As soon as you walk past one spot, you have to keep going because they will respawn behind you. So everyone has to be ready here, or you're staying out and you have to wait for a summon at the end. So what you're doing is that you're really picking up the big guys and all the small mobs, you just clear it. Kinda trash mobs. Still elites, but they don't hurt as much. So you make sure that you keep going. You clear, you clear, you clear. Everyone keeps moving. I think they're prepping here also for the 4th boss. I will also send this out, by the way. I will do an own one. For this boss, you will have what consumes you need for every single boss here. So on this first boss, it's GAPP, GNPP, Bug Trio. It's also GMPP and Elixir of Poison Cleansing that you will do on the first boss that you're killing. So Turret's a lip, Fancris that's coming up. You need a lip as well. But there will also be a full consumes list here, top of this document that everyone needs. This should be mandatory for everyone. If you are a tank, of course, we might need more lips and so on, so I recommend just grabbing more. But this is the minimum that every raider should bring for the different bosses. And this is for a full run, right? So bring these and you will be fine for the 6 bosses that we're doing. So what they're doing is keep running through the gauntlet. They keep clearing. Just trash, trash, trash. Make sure that you save some mana. Don't burn it all, because there's only one spot here you can stop. So you have to keep going, keep going, keep going. So like you're pulling 7 or 8 of these packs. If you burn your mana in 2 packs, then you're kinda in a bad spot. So what you're doing here is you're clearing the last one here, right before the boss. You see the boss was the one coming up here. This is the boss. This is Fancris. It's almost as the same boss as the first boss in AQ20. It looks exactly the same as that boss. So what you're doing here is that you're walking up here on the left hand side. There's a little ledge here where you can stack up. And when you're here and all the mobs have died, this is where you can rebuff and you drink. So what you do is you try to get out of combat, you rebuff, drink mana, all casters, whatever you want to do. Then I think they sit here for a while, and I think they have one more respawns coming behind them. Yeah. So they're sitting here, everyone is drinking up. And then I think they have one wave of respawns here. There's top one here, only at the top. So you only pull this, you clear this, and then you drink up if you need to, again. And then after this, you're pulling the boss. You can't sit here and talk for too long. So yeah, so they kill the mobs. Everyone is full mana. You're walking in. You have main tank in this case, the square. Everyone else is walking in, walking in, walking in. Tank is picking up the boss. This one has exactly the same ability as the AQ21 as mortal wounds for the Vanquist boss. So it is really only tank and spank, but there is one mechanic you have to be aware of. You will have walking in from here, tank is turning it, you're standing in the middle of the room, this is really important. You have all casters and all hunters, everyone is standing right behind the boss, as close as possible, so you're stacked up. What happens with this boss, it has a web. I will show this in the video quick. One person randomly gets selected. I don't think it can be the main tank, but it can be anyone else. So what you see here is that you have paladins that is spread out. You have one paladin here, you have one paladin here, you have one here. So what you're ready to do when the web goes out here, this is ability, one guy will get teleported. Can either be then to the, I don't know if it can be the south, but it can at least be the north up here. You can have the west and you can also have the east. What happens then is that you either have to lip insta. This is why you need a lip for this boss. Or you will have a paladin that's spreading out in a half circle like this so that they're almost in range to bop you. So you can get out of the web. It's super important that you don't sit in these because there will also be ad spawn. So what you will have here is one main tank, always tanking the boss for the whole fight, and everyone else is pumping. The paladins do their assigns. Then you will have two off tanks. In this case, they have one guy. They say just pick up ads, but there is the worms. This one are the scary ones. These hit like trucks. If this hits a mage, you might get one shot. So it's super important that you stay stacked. So it's easier for the off tank when there is a ad spawning on this side to walk out, taunt it up, drag it in, and you can cleave it. So in this case, you only have the tanks walking out. Everyone else is staying on the boss. You nuke, 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 nuke. Bring the ads in. There will be more and more and more. Make sure that the tanks pick these up, so you can zapper or AoE these, whatever really. You kill them, you keep killing the boss, and then you have a summon worm here. These are the scary ones. Let me see where it comes from. They're even killing the boss off, but you have the small crabs, or the small scarabs, whatever you want to call it. These are not the scary ones, these are non-elites. But you have to make sure that you pick them up. But from here, over in this entrance, this will be over here, this hole I think. And I think there might be one over here as well. These have the worms, these are the scary ones. If you have get targeted by one of these as a caster and it's getting close to you, you will lip. So what happens here, you have an off tank, walk to this position, an off tank, walk to this position. And now in this case the boss is already dead, right? So it doesn't really matter. But you have to be ready, these fuck super hard, level 62 elites. These clap big time if you're not a tank. So what you do is that you pick these up off tanks and you kill these. Either just tank them until the boss is dead and then all DPS move and kill them. Oh, let's see, that was the first 4 bosses with trash. Any questions this far on the 4 bosses? Then take them now, otherwise we're gonna go into the 2, I'm not gonna say sketchy bosses, but where you need nature resistance and some special weapons. Anyone? No questions? Perfect. I think I will show this from the frontier point of view going forward. So let me just jump a bit forward here. This is the Vanquist boss. There it is, perfect.
Sorry, did you explain the gather point before Vanquist, where we gather up the hill? Sorry,
Are you talking about like this specific spot here when they're drinking?
Yeah, after we walked the hallway where they respawn. Yeah, this one, yeah.
Yes, so all of this, you go up here, all drinkers walk into this little cubby, and you can drink here. This goes for casters, hunters, and healers, right? What you can also do here is if you want to sit there for a bit, you can pop like a greater nature protection potion while you're walking. If you want to have some protection going forward, so that your lip is off cooldown when you're pulling the boss. That is super important, right? So you can cleanse the web. So what you want to do is that you stack up here so you can drink and you can wait for your pot cooldown. This is why it's also have the weak aura so that I can see everyone's pot cooldown. But before that, you try to do gauntlet everything in one, because if you stop up, someone gets DC'd or something, then you can have some problem, because yeah, you just make too long time, and you might have respawns behind you. So just walk through. I call it the gauntlet. I think it's a pretty solid, super easy name to remember. It's just a long corridor with ads, waves of ads that you have to kill. Then you kill the boss. After that, there's no more respawns or anything as soon as this boss and all the ads die. So what you do is that you kill that off, and then you're walking up here, in this case on the left hand side, up this little alleyway here to the left. Let's see what POV is best for this, but here you want the insta. If you haven't used your lip on the right before on this boss, you will GMPP here, but you have to wait for this bot to come back, because it's super important for this boss that you have a fresh GMPP up, like this case Patrick does, the priest. But you also have your elixir of poison resistance macroed into your ability, so you can insta cleanse it as soon as this happens. So what happens on this? You have Vicious. I will just show the picture. You're walking up from here. This is the point of view that we're watching now. This little alleyway right into here is the boss room. I don't really know why they have it like this, but it's super important that you try to spread out a little bit on the... like you want to keep the boss as close to the middle as possible, because when he, I say explode, but move into different positions, you want to have as many people spread out as possible in a circle. For this boss, I would recommend that you have a GMPP pre-popped and try to get the cooldown almost off before you start the boss. We will probably wait for this because it's super important. Then I would recommend that you have up to 10 of these in case we're gonna fuck up somewhere, so you can cleanse, because it's super important that you don't let the paladins and the druids here cleanse you, but you should do it yourself. Insta. Because otherwise it's gonna take a lot of raid damage and we're gonna fuck a lot of HP in the raid. So what they're doing here, everyone has popped a pot and they're waiting for the cooldowns to come back. And on this boss, it is super important. It's hard to show for priest because it doesn't apply to them. But what they're doing here is that they are switching in certain... I don't even know if Ampy has it. But what you're doing here is that you want people to try to get flask sets and stuff like that, so you have as much pump as possible going into this boss. And then I can't really remember what the fuck they're doing on this boss, but what you normally do is that you equip nature resistance gear for every other player, preferably than healers. So healers are the only ones that should keep their healing power, because for everyone else, including melees and hunters, you want to do double daggers on these. All mages should frostbolt rank 1 because it's a quicker cast on this boss. Because what happens with the boss is that it does like 200 stack where you have to do frost procs on the boss before it explodes and enter phase 2. And it doesn't matter here how much damage that you do on the boss, so this is why it's super important that you try to have nature resistance gear also, because it's not about how much stats you have, it's still gonna be about the procs. It doesn't really matter about the damage. So everyone should have double frost weapon. And I think it's better for hunters overall to use double melee weapon here, because you will have a lot more procs than you will have with a range weapon. So that you're walking in and everyone is hitting the boss like this. So all casters are standing kind of spread out. Hunters and all melees, you sit close here and hit with your double daggers. So it is also super important that all warriors, hunters, rogues, you get 300 weapon skill, so that it's easier for you to connect to the boss. It's gonna be level 63. So you can't come to raid with 200 weapon skill, because then you're not hitting anything anyway. So then you might as well don't do anything for us. So what they're doing here is that everyone is equipping double daggers and nature resist gear. Make sure that their pot is coming off cooldown. Then when they're ready, I think only the tank in this case, because he's not gonna help out doing the frost procs. He's only gonna make sure that the threat is good in the first phase, so no one rips off him. So this case is probably gonna be, I will just go my regular daggers, maybe do frost oil on them, so I can have some procs go out. But otherwise that, everyone else should have frost weapons. If you're a caster and you have the time, you can have a Frost Wand. That also works, but otherwise mages. Frostbolt rank 1. That is, I will count as 1 proc if it hits. So what you're doing here, everyone is moving in, same position. You follow the main tank, he will pick up the boss. He's walking in, diamond flask, everything. Let him pick up the boss. It is turning around, he's dragging back into the middle of the room. This is super important, you grab it back to the middle of the room. You see here, you have a, I think this is DBM for him, it's already counting for him. This is a timer for the first poison volley bolt. This is super important. When this happens, you have to insta use your elixir of poison resistance. So you see here, he's not even healing yet, he's just spamming this button. As soon as this one go out, volley out, you see the marker, stack here, here, and the timer for the next one starts. This is approximate timer, it's not always 10 seconds, but more or less. So melees, this is why I say it's super important. If you're spamming like a Sinister Strike or a Hamstring or Sunder, whatever it is for warriors, you have this macroed in. So if you're just spamming it, it will insta cleanse here. It should go away insta, because this thing here does I think 1600 damage on you insta. But since he has his G and PP up, the raid takes 0 damage. But what happens if you don't have a G and PP up here? You take almost 2k damage insta, and for every second that you don't cleanse the poison on you, it's another 400. And that is also why you have nature resistance gear, because you can resist the hits, so you don't have to cleanse it, and you can also resist the ticks. So you see pet is almost dying insta here. So what hunters can do if you want to for AQ40 is that you bring a second pet with full nature resistance skill learned on it, and then go like stamina on it. So you see here, you have freeze. They're doing, yeah, you see, this is the third part. So I think they have 100 stacks or something on this. So you have to do 200 stacks. And then you have the poison volley. See, he cleansed it so quick you didn't even see the proc gonna pop on him here. You see the text come out. It happens, and he cleansed it before it even reached him. This proc is still here, but you can cleanse it pre, so the tick disappears. Insta, insta, insta. So you want paladins and druids to only heal here. I don't give a fuck. People will have to do this themselves. Cleanse the fucking poison, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. So you have the second freeze. It has a counter here. I think you have DBM. This will be a lot easier. You will see every like 30 or 40 stacks. Keep freezing it, and when it gets first, you have insta the shatter process. This is your kill window. This lets you have like 10 seconds where you absolutely nuke it. You have to nuke, 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 and it semi-dies. What happens? The boss explodes, splits into a lot of trash, smaller ones. That is also why it's super important to have it in a circle like this, so that you spread out, spread out, spread out. So everyone wants to spread out here. You will take one target each and just do a little bit of damage. So also here, for example, hunters, I would rather use your bow here. But what you want to do on these guys is that you don't kill them. You don't try to single target one guy. If I was a hunter, I would intercept, hit this once, switch to the next one, hit that once, and then run back to the middle. Because the thing is that you don't want to kill half of them pre. What you want to do is to try to get all of them low. So when you see they're moving in here, you hit once, maybe on that, and then you run back to the middle, you run back to the middle, everyone is stacking up, stacking up, stacking up, and right here, sapper, 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 sappers. You see some here are still full 100% HP, but almost the rest of them are dead. So you sapper, 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 and you finish off the boss, or the ads. What happens then is that the boss spawns back, but since he is yet not being able to see, it is super important that healers don't heal in this second phase. Because what happens is the only one that can create threats during this second phase is the healers. So what you have to do here is that we might have to do a paladin that will just sit and spam like kings to get a lot of threats. And then everyone knows how to heal or who to heal in the third phase. But what happens here is that this guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the healing G, has been hotting the whole raid up during the second phase. And has all the threats, all the threat here in the third phase when it spawns. So everyone is getting the poison, you keep dispelling it or cleansing it. But then all of a sudden the boss starts running out here. You see it spawns here in the middle, drops down. Then the druid is standing over here that has been hotting the whole raid. And she kind of panics, or he, So the boss explodes, and you see it start running here. It's not marked, but it's right here on my mouse peeker, and it's charging straight out to the druid, and starts clapping the druid. Auto attack, auto attack, auto, and you can't taunt this boss. So this guy almost dies because he panics. I think he gets lay of hands and healed, but then he panics, so he lips or he gets bopped here or something. You then switch targets to the other priest that's standing right next to him, and he's about to get fucked instead. So what you want to do is that you try to stay cool, calm, and collected here, but because you want to try to keep it close to the middle. That is the thing. So melees and hunters don't have to run after you to try hit the boss. Because what happens now is that you have to do another freeze phase, really. So what you have to do is that you can reapply GNPP here in the second phase. Use a new shield to get that up. But what you have to do then is that you freeze the boss again. So what you see now, they are on the fourth, I think, volley. This is the fifth one coming in. And this guy still hasn't cleansed it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But even here, the tank managed to get the threat back. The boss looks like it's dead, but it only has like 1% HP. Because it won't die until you freeze it again and you start the shatter process. So this way, the tanks managed to get it back from the priest after he almost died, because the druid in this case panicked and I think lipped or got bopped, and then it switched to the priest. And I think the tank was closest in threat, so he managed to pick it back up. And he managed to position it good. You also have to care about these. The boss leaves these kind of toxic clouds on the ground, kind of like the world bosses we've done before. So don't stand in these, take a lot of damage. And here, the volley is coming out. You see, the raid is taking a lot of damage now. So this is super important here, your GNPP, re-GNPP, so your second one. But you also keep cleansing these poisons. This is why you might need 10 of these. So you cleanse it insta, and the whole raid should get rid of it. Insta, 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 insta. Super important. Then you keep going. You have the one freeze. This is just a different. I think he has big wigs or something. I will have DBM, so it'll tell me out of 200 stacks how many we have left. So you have 100 more stacks now. They keep hitting. Stack, 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 stack. Freeze him, freeze him, freeze him. Volley go out again. You keep cleansing it. Now you have freeze 2 of 3 parts. You have 50 more to go. You have to go 50 more, 50 more. And as soon as this phase ends, you will freeze him up and you will have the shatter phase. This is where you kill him. So this is a 10-second window that you have to make sure that all 3 of the shatter phases is connecting, so it kills. And as soon as all of the 3 phases is dead, the boss dies. And make sure that everyone is dispelled and is staying alive, and not stacking a poison cloud or something. So this was the vicious phase, or the vicious boss. It is super important here that you do it in 3 phases. Phase 1 is the freeze phase. You move into shatter. You shatter him. He spawns into all of the small blobs. Super important that you don't overstay your welcome at the outside of the ring. You have to walk into the middle. You can drop a flame strike, cone of cold, arcanic blast, but the best you can do is just insta zapper. Zapper, 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 zapper. Best thing you can do here, as soon as they're getting close. So we might see if we do a paladin tank instead, because I've seen some groups do that, so we don't have a random healer getting threat or tanked on when the third phase starts, when he comes back to the middle. So we don't have a panic like this druid does. So the paladin can stand right in the middle, and all melee can insta start hitting the boss instead, because then the third phase will be faster. So that was the Vicious phase, or the Vicious boss. Any questions regarding that boss? If you want, I can also show this from tier point of view. They're doing it without world buffs, so I think they're a bit slower.
Sorry, not about this boss, but
No?
it's 5 minutes until 7.
Yeah,
so
we will delay the
maybe...
raid for them, so that's fine.
Okay.
We're not starting, but everyone can make way to Onyxia's lair. I can log in and start invite if you want to, but...
The invites are out.
Okay, good. Then it's fine. Just get to Onyxia lair and we start as soon as we finish the 6 spots. This is what we're aiming for next Sunday, so this is what we'll go over today. So we're walking through one more boss. So I will just show the Vicious POV from the Frontiers. He's doing it without world buffs. What they're also doing, just since they don't have world buffs, they put one priest almost in every group. I think they even have 8 priests. So what they can do is that the priest will just pray of healing straight after the toxic volley. So what you can do is just pray of healing, but we won't bring 8 priests, so that won't happen. And they also have so many healers. I think they have 8 priests, 4 paladins, and 1 resto druid. So they have 13 healers. I don't know if we will have that many. I think when Freaks did their assignments, they actually did 12 with a lot of paladins and no resto druid, I think. Oh no, they had one resto druid, a lot of paladins, and a few priests. So I will just show you Vicious quick from the frontier point of view as well, without world buffs. So Amp is main tank in here, so he has his regular weapons on, just to create threat. You see he's far above everyone else on the threat table at the moment. No one else is close, but what they do is that they're all spreading out. Mages and stuff is spreading out, hunters, so you can sit at the outside of the boss. So you have procs going out here, volley, so now they're getting close to 50 more. About to have the freeze part, so they do this super fast. They have a lot of melees as well, with a lot of prepared guys. So they do the freeze part super fast. You have the shatter phase, 8 more seconds. Shatter. He explodes. This was super fast. This took like 15 seconds, barely, to do the first phase. They all split out. And you see here Ampy, he hits this one guy with his weapon, switch to the other, hit it 1-2 times. When he's running back in, everyone moves back in. And as soon as they're getting close, sapper, all of them dies. All of them dies because all of them got sappers. I think it was mandatory for them to all have sappers in this raid. Boss insta comes back, and I think, yeah, they had one paladin. They have Roseberry, respect into prot or something, improved kings. Just sit and spam kings. So you see that Ampy and Roseberry are the only one that's close to having threat. So you see Roseberry standing right here, just spamming. So make sure that all the healers is focusing this guy so he can tank it safely. So you see this guy is 4k threat while everyone else is like 1k on the healers. Ness is, I think, Liz, if I'm not mistaken. So and no one else is getting close. So the pal is only gonna sit there, spam kings on one class to get threat. Then everyone else is finishing off the third phase. So they're freezing. And then as soon as the shatter phase happens, shatter, 50 more hits, and boss is dead. Super easy, even without world buffs. The thing is that they all came prepared. They had sappers, they had nature resistance gear, and they also had frost weapons on. Super important. We're gonna go over the last boss, that's Princess Cuhwarriorn as well. I'll just show that. First we go over the trash.
How much nature resistance do we need for this boss?
I would recommend that you sit on 100 nature resistance unbuffed is preferred. Then we will probably have a lot of hunters also. That will help out with their buffs or the aura, whatever you want to call it, on all the melee groups. We'll probably at least have 5 hunters, might even be 6. So that will give you another 60. But I know that when Freak started, they aimed to have 100 unbuffed on all their players, except them for healers. So even some casters had like the calling legs and stuff like that, maybe a trinket. Somewhere around there would be optimal. I've seen some have a little bit more, but around 100 I think is good for the first clear. And then if we feel comfortable and healing was no problem, we can have less. It's more about the tank, just tanking the boss and making sure that everyone else in the raid doesn't die. Yes, we have some more trash I think coming up that I'm not super sure about. Yeah, you also have the gauntlet here for the 2 mobs, soldier skill prio, drones, the small lads, gather them up. But then you have the pre-Cuhwarriorn trash. This is a bit more unfamiliar for me, so we'll go over this slowly, make sure that we cover it all. So what you have here is the scorpions. Let's see, I think they have 2 scorpions if I'm not mistaken. patrolling up and down. They're just switching the groups back, so all priests don't sit in every single group because they don't need them anymore. So what they're doing here, they're grabbing 2 when they're in a good spot. So this is the Vecnish Hive. This will be these guys. They cleave, so I think we're not gonna stack them up. We'll just spread them out, kind of like the Guardians in AQ20, and just do one by one, kill them one by one. But they also have poison, random for the whole raid. So just keep your macro in for your poison cleansing, and that's fine. That is not the right one. So they're killing one, and then they're killing the second. I think they even cleaved it. Probably doesn't really matter. Then they're killing 2 more. Yeah, they might even be cleaving it, so we might just do the same, because they're doing it without world buffs, so we should be fine. But you see that there is random poisons going out on the raid here, when you check this pull. See there's some poison cloud going out. One lands on Ampy, and then you have some go out on the healers. So just have your poison cleansing macroed in, super easy. Then you have 2 more scorpions, so this is the 6th scorpion pack, or the 3rd pair. Then here we have a bit more. This is looking kinda like AQ20 here with the trash. These are the same as the stingers, if I'm not mistaken. So you kill the stingers, exactly the same as the AQ20 ones. Kill stingers, and you have the wasp. That's just cleave add. So what you do is that you focus the killer. These are the one that stack or the charge. So you want to do hunter pets. So what they are doing here is that you keep the hunter pets on this side. And so what they're doing here, in this case, I think they had 1 tank sit here and battle shout, just to make sure that they're soaking on this side here as soon as possible, so that it doesn't target a healer. So 1 guy battles taunts, and then they're all bringing all the guys in, same spot, and then they're killing the stinger first, and then there's 3 more wasps on top of that, and you just cleave those. Cleave. And these are the ones that poison, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and stingers is the only one that charge. So wasp, poison, insta. You should have the responsibility here, guys, to still have macroed in. Insta cleanse yourself. It's higher prior than trying to get 1 more heal off on trash. So you kill stinger, and then you clear the wasps. Cleave. If you manage to pull a Cuhwarrior Lasher as well, I think you will see this. I think this is same as the swarm guards that is in AK20 almost. They think they do some knockback and maybe spin or AoE stuff and stuff like that. So I think that is why you need the FAPs on these. Should only be tanks. But we'll walk through and show this as well. So what they're doing is still 1 hunter pet is in this case is pulling. I think they have the one in, I can't remember what group. But the hunter pet almost dies, and you have the aggro going to the hunter, and then I think 1 tank's just blood rage and battle shout to get threats. Make sure that everyone else is moving in then, after they had that happen. But in this case they had the lasher, and I don't know what they did here, but I didn't see them fap. But what they have, I think, is off tank sitting ready here. So when can't even see it, but when the lasher comes in here, you taunt the lasher out and you kill that last, because this is the one that probably knocks up and cleave and shit. So you let the off tanks keep it over here on this side until every other mob is dead. Then you can walk over here and clear it. You have to just be careful so you don't get cleaved and knocked back, because you don't want to get thrown into the other room where the boss is at. You have more packs coming, only wasps and stinger. You also have 1 guy here actually, that is lasher. So you try to pull the lasher out, and then you make sure that 1 hunter, in this case, 1 hunter hit the stinger. So make sure that it stacks up with the raid. You only have a few off tanks together with hunter pet standing here on the outside, on this side. So just keeping this is the 4th pack, I think. 5th pack, also 1 lasher in the pack. Just keep clearing. 6th pack, I think. So here hunters also have to be careful. You pull slowly here with your pets whenever you feel comfortable. You will have to train for this, I guess. Yuffie and Valash. Because the double pack here is same as in AK20. You have to be super quick, dispel, and make sure that the 2 kill targets dies first. Yeah, that was all the trash. So in this case, they just all sat here until they were done. I think that's the safest or the easiest to do. What comes next is the boss. This is the Cuhwarriorn boss, Princess Cuhwarriorn, that has also some nasty AoE. So what they are doing here is that you have, I don't think that they are doing, yes, so what they're doing here is actually they're switching priest in for the melee groups. I think they're doing the same here, because melees are, the 115 of the targets that is closest to the boss will take all the AoE damage. So what they're doing here is that they put healers or priests in the melee groups to do prayer of healing in a certain spot. So see here, you have the casters and the healers all spread out. That's fine. Doesn't need to sit close. You want to sit on range, but you have the hunters sitting here nearby in the groups. I think they actually shows this if you go further down for the setup. I don't know if you have this actually. Maybe they don't. Yeah, what they normally do is that you can switch priests in for these groups, or depending on how many we have, or you let hunters sit in the melee group so that you have nature resistance aura here. So you have that to help protect the melees, but you also want to have the trank rotation set up. So you'll add trank from a certain player, so you want to sit as close as possible, because this boss fucks. What some guys do on this boss is that you do nature resistance gear. We're probably just gonna nuke all cooldowns on this boss and just kill it. So we're not gonna do any nature resistance gear on this boss. But what you want to do is that you have a pre-GNPP and you're ready to pump it when the execute phase happens. You don't want to lip or anything here. It's GNPP, and if you feel you're getting low, it is health stone or you petri for yourself. Because what happens when the boss is getting low, that it enters at more or less enrage stage where you take a lot of melee damage. So what happens is that the closest of the 15 melees takes damage. You can't start running away from this because you'll only fuck up the whole raid. So what you want here is that you commit. You commit to Reckless, Death Wish, Trinkets, Adrenaline Rush, Blade Flurry. Use everything when the boss is getting close to 30%. And you can also Sapper. You make sure that the boss dies as soon as possible. So I'll just show you the POV. So what they are doing is they're switching in priest for every group, in this case, because they have no world buffs. We might just go full pump. So what they are doing here, they are setting up for a bit. They're waiting for all the pot cooldowns. When the boss is all the way across the room, I think they're walking in, so everyone is getting in position, because same here as the Vicious, you want to keep the boss as close to the middle as possible so that the rest can spread out. So everyone takes their position. Amp is picking the boss up, has it in the middle of the room. So he uses Death Wish only to get Threat and Diamond Flask from the start. But everyone else is holding their cooldown. You have no Death Wish going out, but you also have the poison here. So Elixir of Poison Cleansing should go out insta. Keep healing. Hunters keep trank rotation, sitting over here, really close. Everyone else is spread out in a circle. Boss is now 55%. It's getting close. You see Death Witches here is going out now because it's a longer cooldown. So you want the pump to start happening. All the warriors DPSing. Go ham, go ham, go ham. And now here, this part is when the frenzy starts to get now here. This when the frenzy is the regular one you can trank. But when the berserk happens, this happens on 30%, always on the boss. All paladins, you're sitting here, one here that ran in. What they will do is that they run in, they bubble themselves and sit right underneath the boss, because this will soak the damage for the other melees. So the more paladins you can have sit here melee range will soak all the damage. So what happens here, the boss goes crazy and you start doing insane AoE to the whole raid. I'll see if I can catch it quick. Berserk happen. And you see the melee happen here. So all the paladins in this group, 4 of them, are soaking the first AoE. All the DPS warriors here taking damage, including the tanks, is the AoE. This is only 8%. We'll go slow. And another one goes out. Paladins is still sitting in the middle, tanking the shit and healing. And I think even here one DPS warrior ripped Fet, if I'm not mistaken, or something. But it turned. But yeah, you see everyone here is getting really, really low. This is the third hit. And now the boss is 6%. So what you can do here is that you throw a GNPP in here, because it is mostly nature damage to take. And you try to finish the boss. Everyone here is getting super low. You have guys that is almost dying now, DPS warriors. So what you have to do is you can start running here. The only thing you can do yourself is petri if you are feeling unsafe. But the best thing you can do is finish the boss. The faster she dies, the safer it is. Because if 10 people here in the melee stack petri now, it will focus the guys outside instead and start fucking them over. So you can't really just petri, because it will just fuck everyone else over in the raid. So what you want to do is that you try to finish the boss. That's also why they have then priest in every group, that they can pray over healing all the melees that's sitting the closest. So all healers start prayer over healing when the boss is getting to 33%, so you start pre-healing max range and you just spam it every single second until the boss is dead.
One more thing for paladins here.
Yes.
When you bubble inside the boss, you also pop scrolls of blinding light from BWL if you have it. Everyone should have. Well, we 3 paladins have it now.
Yeah.
And start casting max rank holy light on the melee DPS.
Yes.
So you burn all your mana very fast, but at the time you are 0 mana, we should kill the boss.
Yes, we should. Like, this is just a kill window. This is also why we're saving Rick and all big cooldowns for this. So if you want to fuck the raid, you use it on another boss. But I will call for Rick, Death Wish, and Diamond Flask in a good time here, because otherwise this is to be honest a melee killer. Otherwise, if you're not getting like enough damage down, so you want everyone to use sappers. You should burn all your cooldowns on this, so make sure that the boss dies as soon as possible. That's the only thing that wants. So the more paladins we have in the raid, the safer it will be for all the melees. But you have to stay in. If you can't stay in, you either GNPP to get a new shield, or you have to petri and you get out if you don't feel safe. You just sit there until the boss is dead. So that's why it's super important to don't panic. Actually stick in and just pump it out. Pump it out, pump it up. The only way you have to kill the boss. This is the best way, simply. So these are the 6 bosses that we are aiming to do next Sunday. I will show this quick on for our priest pov as well before we go over to raid. And we will join and start Onyxia. I will show you this quick. And if there is any questions, I will just skip the trash. They're doing the same trash as we already watched. You see that they are doing 2 stacks, but they are actually doing, I think, one hunter with 1 paladin standing nearby, same as AQ20, and then they have one of the tanks sitting in the front, and then the rest of the raid standing right behind, and you have pets on the left. So we'll just do something similar that we feels works for us, but it's super important that the off tanks who gets the lasher will drag it out and sit with it outside. Let's see if I can jump past these. I have so much fucking videos up. I will just show this, and then if there's any more questions regarding this boss, we'll do that. So what they are doing, they just moved up here for a bit, so the hunter doesn't have to sit that close to the mobs. But you see here, main tank in this case picks up the lasher, taunts it back, drags it solo, but he's also soaking all the charges here, so kinda I would prefer whoever is the tank that you try to sit between the pets and the raid, just out of range for everyone else. So what he's doing here in this case, he's having it here, but he also gets knocked. So if you get knocked back into the fucking hallway, then you might be fucked. But yeah, he gets knocked super far here, the main tank. And someone else just picks up the lasher instead, because it's a threat reset. Let's see then if we can find the boss here. So what they are doing here as well, I think they're spreading out the priests for the melee groups. So if we have 5, we might just do 1 for every melee group. Exactly like they are doing. And they have 2 rogues that's sitting out. Everyone else is in a melee group, including the hunters then for the nature resistance aura. So you're really trying to protect the rogues and the tanks and the melee warriors. think this is the boss pull. I think they're running in on mounts, everyone together. So they're all trying to stay stacked. So as soon as the boss is at the back room, they're walking in so that the tank can pick it up close to the middle. Everyone else moves into position. You see everyone else is spreading out, spreading out, spreading out. You let the tank pick it up and grab it in the middle. So what you will show here as well, only at the moment Tiara, the main tank, is the only one death wishing and probably having his flask up for the warriors. Now for some reason there's a couple of people already popping it. Might be a bit too early to be honest, but yeah. So some death wish going out. The boss is now getting close to 50%. 50%. You see also the hunters still sitting here, tranking. You have Palla here, here, and I think over on this side there's 2 more. So they are ready to move in. You see soon the call out come. Berserker's about to happen. Paladin start moving in. Palla start moving in. Palla start moving in. Berserking happening. All of the Pallas is sitting right underneath the boss, so they soak. They soak, soak, soak. Everyone is sappering, and you see all Death Wish, all wreck is out. So normally what you do if you have a fast pull, that you clear Cuhwarriorn and Situn with wreck if you can, depending on how.
Sorry, Q, did you see that they had 2 or 3 seconds still with Death Wish? So it was
I mean, it was a good. I
not
don't know.
too early, it was
No.
right in time.
Yeah, so that was. I also have all warriors should have a time to kill weak aura. I can send it for the warrior channel later or in raid. That will put a little timer here. How long it is expected until the boss is about to die. And normally when you have the execute phase, it goes faster, right? So if it is 20 seconds, you can probably pop it at around 25, 30 seconds just to make sure that you get full maximum efficiency of your cooldowns, right? So what you're doing, just pumping. You have the berserk, all paladins is sitting underneath, and I mean this raid without world buff series taking legit 0 damage. No one is getting close to dying. They just nuke it. No one is close. Even don't burn through the nature protection shield. And everyone is fine. That is why it's super important to have a lot of DPS warriors to pump. So this is the Cuhwarriorn boss. Looks really simple when you watch this buff from the raid buffs. But without raid buffs, it looks a bit more sketchy from a frontier point of view. That's a long talk, guys. Any more questions of any of the bosses? Any trash that you want any answers on? Please take it now, because next week I'm going on vacation for a couple of days, so I might not be able to attend to it then. I will also, I have screen recorded this, so I'm planning to post this on YouTube and put it up in the raid information later also. But if there is any questions, please do them now. Otherwise we're gonna switch over and start with the raid instead.
I have no question, but just to announce it, if anybody needs a frost weapon, I have 5 of the mauls.
The hammers.
The hammer, yeah, the hammer of Northwind.
It is just
So
super.
at least if there are people without it, just trade me then.
Yes, it is really important that people have frost weapons, otherwise we can't kill Vicious. The fight is gonna be super long. Frontier did it super fast because they all had sappers, they all had weapon with weapon skill. Super important. For your own safety, because otherwise healers can't keep up, you should have 100 nature resistance unbuffed. This goes for all the classes that can have it, except for healers. It should be the only exception. Otherwise, all melees, all hunters, even some of the other guys should have some nature resistance to help you protect you from the resistance. No, I will try to download this from Freaks and I will update this to ourselves and also post all the potions list that is expected for you on Sunday next week. And if you feel there is too much stuff to get, then I'd rather you skip Thursday's raid and make sure that you're fully world buffed up and prepared, and also that you bring all the consumes. If you feel that it's too much to spend for every raid, sit out on either Tuesday or Thursday. And make sure that you show up prepared, because I need everybody on their best performance on Sunday.